Have you ever reached an age where your hands are always full, yet when you look closely, almost nothing you're carrying truly belongs to you? This is the story of the year a woman in her 60s finally began to put things down. Her name was Nora, and she was 61. On the street, she looked perfectly fine, just another woman with a bag in her hand, a to-do list in her pocket, and someone else's problem in her mind. All her life, she had been the strong one, the daughter who cared for her aging parents, the wife who kept the household running smoothly, the mother who never, ever said no, and the colleague who always finished what others left undone. Even now, with her children grown and her parents gone, she woke each morning with the same automatic reflex. Who needs me today? She never once stopped to ask herself, what do I need today? The thought felt selfish. She had been trained, conditioned to always put herself last. It was just what she did. This story begins on a cold, gray Tuesday. Nora was walking out of the supermarket, 2 heavy bags clutched in each hand. Some of the groceries were for her, but most were for her daughter, her neighbor, her friend. Halfway to the bus stop, a sharp, searing pain shot down her leg. She gasped, forced to set the heavy bags on the ground as she leaned against a wall, trying to catch her breath. People rushed past her. No one even glanced her way. She stared down at the 4 bags on the pavement. 2 were hers. 2 belonged to others. And in that moment of pain and isolation, a quiet but powerful question rose from deep within her. Why am I still carrying everything for everyone? Just then, a soft voice asked, "Are you okay?" Nora looked up to see a woman about her age, with kind, warm eyes. Her name was Helen. Nora's automatic response kicked in. "I'm fine," she said, forcing a weak smile. But Helen didn't believe it. She gently helped Nora over to a nearby bench. Nora tried to make a lighthearted joke. "I guess this is what happens when you get past 60, she said with a sigh. But Helen just shook her head. "No," she said gently. "This is what happens when you spend 60 years carrying more than your share." The words landed with a surprising weight, hitting something deep inside Nora that had been buried for decades. After a moment of silence, Helen looked at her again and asked, "Are you really fine?" Nora opened her mouth to give her usual practiced answer, but the pain in her leg and the profound exhaustion in her soul wouldn't to let the lie come out. Her voice was barely a whisper. "No, I'm tired. I'm so tired of carrying, of fixing, of pretending." Helen simply nodded. "That's the bravest thing I've heard all week," she said. They started walking again, slowly this time. Helen made a joke about all the bags, and Nora found herself explaining that they weren't even all hers. Helen then asked a simple question that stopped Nora in her tracks. "And who carries your bags?" Nora had no answer. She had never even considered it. Helen shared her own story then. How one day she bent down to tie her shoe and simply couldn't stand back up again. It was the result of years of accumulated stress and never, ever saying no. In the second half of life, Helen said, her voice full of wisdom, we have to stop carrying everyone else's life while our own quietly slips away. At the next bench, Nora was out of breath again. She finally admitted that her back hurt often, that she was always in some kind of pain, but she just learned to push through it. Helen shook her head again, more firmly this time. "Ignoring your body isn't sacrifice," she explained. "It's slow self-destruction. Listening to your body isn't selfish. It's just basic respect for the only home you will ever truly live in." Nora felt a tightness in her chest. She had spent her entire life just pushing through, not actually living. She wasn't just carrying groceries, she was carrying everything. Without knowing exactly why, she started talking. Really talking. She spoke about old mistakes she'd made, the heavy guilt she still carried, the moments she replayed over and over again in the middle of the night. Helen just listened, without judgment, without offering easy solutions. Finally, Nora whispered, "I can't forgive myself. It is like I am carrying a bag of stones that I can never put down." Helen's reply was soft but clear. Old guilt is one of the heaviest weights we carry. And at our age, we don't have enough time left to keep punishing ourselves for a version of us that simply didn't know any better. Then she asked a question that would change everything for Nora. If your own daughter made the exact same mistakes you did, would you want her to carry this weight, this guilt, for the rest of her life? Of course not, Nora said immediately, horrified at the thought. Then why, Helen asked gently, are you less deserving of that same forgiveness? Something inside Nora cracked open and at the same time began to heal. The bus arrived. Helen reached down and picked up 2 of the bags, not all 4. She looked at Nora and asked, "Which ones are yours?" Nora hesitated for just a second, then pointed to Helen's hands. "These can wait," she said, her voice stronger now. "Today, I will carry only what's mine." They sat together on the bus. For the first time in years, Nora didn't make a mental list or worry about her next task. She just leaned her head back against the seat and breathed. A year passed. Nora was still the same person, caring, loving, helpful, but she carried her life differently. She learned to say, "I'm tired," or "I need a break," instead of always pretending she was fine. She started asking her children for help sometimes and was surprised to find they were happy, even eager to give it. She finally went to the doctor for all those long-delayed checkups. She started walking every morning, not to lose weight or impress anyone, but simply to thank her body for carrying her for so long. She even wrote letters of apology for old hurts to people from her past. And as she sent them, she felt the stones in her chest grow lighter one by one. One afternoon, she sat on that same bench near the supermarket where her back had locked in pain a year before. She watched the people rushing by, their arms overloaded with too many bags. For a fleeting moment, she saw her younger self among them, and she whispered to that memory, "You did your best. Now you can rest." In the second half of life, the most important things we put down are not objects, they are habits. The habit of saying, "I'm fine," when your heart is breaking. The habit of carrying everyone else's weight while your own life quietly passes you by. The habit of ignoring the body that has carried you for decades. And the habit of punishing yourself for mistakes you made when you just didn't know any better. Letting go of these habits doesn't make you weak, it makes you free. Growing older, I senti about losing things. It is about finally putting down what was never meant to be carried for this long. And maybe this year, like Nora, you can begin to put some things down too. If Nora's story felt familiar, please share it with someone you know who has carried too much for too long. We'll be sharing more stories like this, stories that bring clarity, comfort, and the courage to change. One of them might just be the beginning of the lightest chapter of your life. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.